Thank you so much for joining us at EOG Talks. Sameh Sabry, Senior Vice President for the Middle East and North Africa Wintershall. It's a new title, so congratulations. It's a new role, new responsibility.
Thank you.
All the best of luck. But we have a lot to talk about for in your new role today in our EOG Talk, our yearly EOG Talk with yourself, in celebration of Wintershall Day's 50th anniversary. So happy anniversary.
Thank you, Muhammad. Thank you very much for having me.
Sameh, Wintershall Day has been in Egypt for 50 years. Sustained, growing, successful. What are the key ingredients of your success in Egypt for the past 50 years?
Thank you, Muhammad. 50 years in Egypt, such a milestone. We have started in 1974. And since then, I think there are two key factors or two key ingredients for our success. One of them is derived from the slogan we have, Minds of Engineers. We have always been striving for operational excellence. In all our operations, we have been very keen to put safety and sustainability as our key priority. I think this is one of the key factors. The other key factor is we have been all the time keen to build very long-lasting relationships with all the stakeholders in Egypt, with the Ministry of Petroleum, with the state companies, with the international companies, with the service companies. I think we have built a very good reputation as a reliable partner, as a straightforward player who is keen for win-win success.
Absolutely, I totally agree. I think you are from the few companies that you can see that you do work with Egypt as the government, as a partner, not as an investor. And I think this is one of the reasons why there is a success factor that is different from any other one and being in Egypt for 50 years. Would you agree with me on that?
I fully agree. I think we believe in long-lasting relationships. We believe in win-win. We believe that we are here to stay and we are committed to Egypt. And this reflects in every decision we make, in every transaction we do with the Egyptian government.
So, building on that success, I'm sure that success did not come only from your strategy, but your people, your employees, your partners, the government. What would be your key message to all these important players of building that sustainable success in the past 50 years?
That's a good question, Muhammad. Especially that when I look back to the 50 years we have been operating in Egypt, we have been operating under different names, under different structures of shareholders. And through those years, many changes have taken place. But the one thing which stayed stable is actually having a committed and a reliable team that works to support Egypt, to supply Egypt with the energy it needs for the economy. So my message to the business community, to the state companies, EGPC and EGAS, to the Ministry of Petroleum, is that we will continue to operate with the same high-level standards. We will continue to put safety and sustainability as our key priority. I think they can rely on us as a committed partner for Egypt for years to come. This is the key message for the business community. But I would like as well to send a message to our employees, to my team, especially that it now grew to include teams of the Middle East and North Africa. I think my message is to them is that I'm quite proud of them. I'm quite sure and I trust them. And I'm quite sure that we will work all together in harmony to serve the different assets in the different countries in the region, including Egypt, in a balanced and an efficient way.
So, you mentioned right now that your team grew, not just focusing on Egypt anymore. So it's Egypt, you have the whole of North Africa, and in the Middle East.
Yes.
Big responsibility and big commitment. And I think the region will be mainly focused from Egypt here. Is that correct?
No, we actually have a very modern and progressive way of working. We don't believe in a physical base for our operations. We believe in working virtually, regardless where people are based. So in my new responsibility, I'll be responsible for 4 different countries, starting with Algeria, Libya, Egypt, and the UAE. Excellent. And there are many teams working there. We have offices in different locations, but people work from whatever place. We are only keen to make sure that we bring value and we add value regardless of locations. And I think this is, for me personally, quite a new challenge. I have been involved in business, operating and managing our operations in Algeria years before, and I've been responsible for Egypt for the last few years. But it's the first time for me to run a number of countries and to also manage multiple diverse teams like this.
Well, I'm sure you're going to do a great job with what you've
Thank you.
done in the past years here in Egypt and before in Algeria. I think having Libya and UAE in your portfolio is gonna be as an easy task, but a big responsibility at the same time.
Yeah, easy is a big word, but let's say it will be interesting.
Inshallah. Let's go back again to Egypt. When we will continue our discussion on MENA and what your key priorities are in your new role. But
Yeah.
I want to go back to Egypt and discuss the 50 years and how your company's approach to exploration and production evolved throughout those years.
You know, Hamad, I spent the last few days looking into the history of our company in Egypt. We have been preparing a brochure covering our history in the 50 years. And the starting point was in 1974 when we started exploring for oil in the Gulf of Suez. And after a few years, we managed to make a number of discoveries, and we started producing from there at 1983. And since then, we have been operating for 4 decades in a very safe and responsible manner, and we have used all technologies and all the know-how as the time goes in drilling activities, in enhancing activities for our production. But more importantly, we have managed as well to maintain the integrity of our assets and our facilities until we managed, after 4 decades, to hand it over to EGPC gracefully, in a good shape and good form. And then we shifted gradually from the focus on oil to focus on natural gas, which we believe is the transitional hydrocarbon that suits more the climate targets we have. And during the 2000s, we managed to make a series of discoveries in the Nile Delta, both onshore Nile Delta in the Souk, and then East Damanhur lately, but as well with our partners offshore Mediterranean with BP in the West Nile Delta project. And since then, for the last decade, we have been producing very efficiently natural gas, supporting the supply of Egypt in both projects with partnership with EGAZ and with EGPC. And today, we are even looking forward to further growth, both in exploration and in M&E, but as well in energy transition and positioning ourselves as a leader and a frontliner in carbon capture and storage in Egypt and in the region.
No, it's very fascinating to see when you showed me the pictures and the history of since the first exploration well and how that process went, and seeing how you're adapting to the new energy landscape in the market, and how energy transition and the role of natural gas and how you're playing that role, and also bringing in new technological advancements and playing a different role in the CCUS approach. I think it's very interesting to see how the company is evolving very fast in a very safe and quality approach.
Yeah.
So that's it's very interesting to see that, and I think it's a lesson to actually learn from and teach of how you can evolve as a company from a company that only produces oil to a company that is right now focusing on creating a much more bigger energy portfolio, and also being sustainable at the same time. So that takes me to the question of your priorities in the MENA region right now, and I'm sure your priorities in your new role will definitely focus on the new energy landscape, including natural gas exploration and production, including CCUS, as you were mentioning. What else? And what's your strategy? What's your plans?
Yeah, that's all right, but let me take you one step backward, Mohammed, because to be honest, my first priority now is to make sure that my team, the team serving the region, is working in harmony and working efficiently. It's the first time for our company to have a team covering a region, not just one single country. So I need to make sure that the team is serving the assets in the different countries in a balanced and an efficient way. This is my number one priority.
Definitely.
But of course, this is a short-term priority. The longer-term one is exactly as you mentioned. We are very keen to identify potential opportunities for growth, both in exploration, but also in M&A, to find the new opportunities that can bring value to our company and can make sure that we emphasize our presence in those countries. This on the E&P business, but as well as I told you, not only in Egypt, by the way, but in Algeria, we are trying to position ourselves as a key player and a frontliner when it comes to energy transition initiatives, with the focus on carbon capture and storage, given our current portfolio, our experience, and the proven projects that we have managed to successfully execute during the last couple of years.
Sameh, in the past couple of questions, I heard you keep on repeating the concept of your role in Wintershall in the energy transition process, which seems that you are playing a bigger role in this. So I need you to elaborate more on that aspect, and I need to understand from you what projects have you successfully implemented when it comes to energy transition. What different technological aspects have you been taken into consideration, and what's coming in the future also?
You're right, Mohammed. I keep on repeating energy transition and emissions reduction initiatives, maybe because it's close to my heart, but it also reflects our DNA, our culture, and our priorities. And I'm very proud that we can and we are playing a leading role when it comes to this in the countries of the MENA region. Let me give you a couple of examples. For example, in the Souk, we are very proud that in our joint venture there with EGAS, the Soukou, we have managed to, as a key success, we have managed to be the first Egyptian joint venture to stop completely and entirely routine flaring.
What do you mean by the first Egyptian joint venture? So you're the first joint venture to actually implement such an approach?
We are the first Egyptian joint venture with EGAS to apply this and to implement completely zero routine flaring. This was actually one of the key successes in a bigger program. There are other examples where we apply technology, like the LDAR program. LDAR stands for Leak Detection and Repair, which is aiming at reducing methane emissions. This is for Egypt, but also for Algeria. We are quite happy that we have presented a new idea for a project, which we call the methanation project, in our Regan Nord asset in Algeria. We presented this to our partners, Sonatrach and Repsol, in the joint venture there, the Groupement, which is targeting to convert CO2 and H2 into methane. And we work very closely with one of the most reputable German technology institutes to make sure that we have the proper planning and engineering for this concept and project. And I hope that this would be a good pilot success that we can apply elsewhere in the MENA region.
Sameh, thank you so much. Methanation, I'm not going to forget that word. I think it's very creative, and I love the concept and the approach, and I hope it succeeds very well with of course, I'm sure with having one of the reputable German technological institutes, we will hear great success after that, and hopefully we can see it also implemented here in Egypt in a later stage. Congratulations on your new role as the Senior Vice President for MENA in Wintershall Dea. Congratulations to your team, and happy 50th anniversary to Wintershall Dea, and hoping to see another 50 years of great success and value to your people, to the communities you serve, and to the industries that you operate in. Thank you so much, Sameh.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.